Some time ago, I went for a random shopping spree at the bookstores. Before you raise your eyebrows and scream your lungs out, it was during the pre-lockdown period, so I was safe, it's fine. So when I went there, I was almost convinced by a lot of storekeepers to buy this one book which has become an international bestseller almost overnight. Everyone is reading it, everyone is buying it. In today's episode, I'm going to be giving you a brief overview of this book, why it became so popular, if it is worth the hype, and finally, I'm going to be busting 3 myths that you probably think are true about this book. So, let us talk about Ikigai. Ikigai is essentially a book on the art of living. Ikigai, the word comprises of 2 Japanese words, iki and gai, which together mean that a sense or purpose of living. It is the reason why you get out of your bed every day in the morning. It is, if you please, some sort of a driving force. The book aims at helping its reader to find the Ikigai of his or her life. Even if it seems like you don't have any Ikigai at this point, you feel sort of hopeless about it, the book promises to take you to a sort of a soul-searching journey. So in that sense, the book is like a manual. Finding Ikigai, according to this book, brings the person ultimate satisfaction, happiness, and a sense of fulfillment. Francis Mireles and Hector Garcia Puiserver, who were the 2 authors of the book, they traveled to this small Japanese town called Okinawa, which is also known as the village of longevity. It is called the village of longevity because people there, a lot of people there are like super old, but they're not at all senile. They're all in perfect working condition. They have perfect physical health and mental well-being until the day they die. It's almost like they are immortal. So the authors are actually welcome to stay in this village, and they document their stay along with their findings. They actually try to find how and why their focus is entirely on the lifestyle of the Okinawa people and how are they living for so long and living in such an amazing manner. We are actually introduced to a lot of traditional Okinawa cultures such as the Hara Hachibu, which means the 80% full concept, where they actually eat until they are still a bit hungry and they leave it at that. They never eat until they're completely full and feel suffocated, which is something I often do. There are also a couple of other sort of mottos that are put forth in the book, such as do not retire, stay active, stay connected to nature, remain surrounded by a couple of good friends, stay fit. A lot of all these mottos have been carefully explained in the book about why they are essential to live longer and live happily. So let us now talk about the 3 myths that you should totally get rid of before you start reading the book. The first is, you might tend to think that the cover is cute, therefore the book is going to be something nice and pretty as well. I admit, the cover art is cute, but that is exactly where the cuteness ends. The plot, it is nothing kawaii in that sense. It almost tasted my patience for so long. I read the 30% of book and then I decided to not read it anymore. But then I'm like, I'll just do the review anyway. So I actually read it because I wanted to do the review. A lot of you must be thinking that since it's a bestseller, it must be the narrative must be really amazing and will keep you hooked, but that is totally not true. In a lot of part, the narrative becomes such a drag and the author keeps repeating the same point over and over, harping across your head like you are some 3-year-old kid. So yeah, I don't really like this idea of saying the same thing over and over. It irritates me a lot. The other myth that you might have come across is that this book is on traditional Japanese culture, which it really is not. It is just another self-help book around the corner. It just adds this idea of Japanese tradition for a bit of a luster, if you might. I'm an Indian. In that sense, we do have a lot of ancient traditional art of living and stuff, and no one really follows it. But what I want to say is, I think this book is using Japanese tradition as a piggyback ride. I felt like this is quite an ordinary book of the self-help genre, and I'm not a big fan of self-help genre myself, but if you are, then this might be the book for you. I mean, if you're invested in some sort of soul searching, finding a purpose of life, a meaning for all this journey that you have been making and all the journey you are about to make, then you might want to pick this book up. But otherwise, if you rather are invested on reading some sort of treatise on Japanese culture, Japanese traditions, then this does not really live up to the mark. Before ending this video, do make sure to subscribe to our content, do check our other contents out, and I'm gonna leave all the links of my social media accounts in the description box below. If you're new here, then subscribe, share and like. So that's been my review of Ikigai, and as a positive note, I'm gonna be telling you this, that it is really thin and the language is like very lucid. So yeah, if you still want to read it, you might just as well give it a go. It will take you hardly 3 hours of your life, which you will never get back. So if I have to give this book a rating, out of 5 stars, I will give this one overhyped international bestseller. I have no idea which everyone is reading about. Why? Even the sentence got weird. It's that weird. It is. And now I'm gonna be welcoming you to the last and most awaited part of this review, the uncomfortable ending.